Okay, one of the cognitive distortions that I have, if you know, you know, is catastrophizing, right? Catastrophizing in some sense is like when you have an issue that's present and you magnify the problems in the issue and you minimize, reject any possible solutions or silver linings. For example, let's say you got an exam score back, you didn't do as well, you didn't get the mark that you thought you were gonna get, right? If you weren't catastrophized, you'd be like, oh, that sucks. That really sucks. Better luck next time, G. Or you try and like look at what you're doing wrong to see what's up, right? Like, yeah, feel some type of way about it, right? But it won't affect your whole mood, right? You won't like be dragging comparisons that aren't related to this test to this test. Here's what I mean. I catastrophize. And if I got an exam score back that, you know, I wasn't expecting, I look at the mark and I feel like, oh, I'm a bad guy. I'm a lazy guy. Like, saying it now it's ridiculous, but I'm being so serious. Oh, like, I thought I studied well and I didn't get the mark I wanted. Like, what did I do so wrong? Like, why do I even go to Penn? Who let me into Penn? What if I do this again on the next exam? Like, I feel good for it and then I like don't do as well. Oh my God, like my academic advisors can tell me to drop the class. They tell me to drop the class. Like, what if they don't have this class like next fall? You see, and then I don't graduate in time. You see, like this, just this falling down this thing, right? And the reason why I bring this up, right, is because the maladaptive way that I've decided to, well, it wasn't a conscious decision to work, not to worry, but to deal with this is to avoid, right? Like, for example, I was in this one French class and my French isn't that bad. Like, I always tell people I don't know the like level I'm at, but I'm like, if you throw me in France or Quebec, I'd be pretty okay without Google Translate, right? And I just could not go to a class for the life of me. This was before I took my leave. And then like that class was, as you could tell, was based heavily on participation. If you're not participating, guess what's gonna happen to your grade? It's gonna go down. And it was like a positive feedback loop where it's like I'd get a bad grade and they're like, oh, this is why I shouldn't go to class, and I wouldn't go to class and I would get a bad grade. Like, it was just a loop there. And so that's how I dealt with my catastrophizing. I was thinking like, what if I conjugate the verb wrong in the class and then everyone laughs? Like, people are not laughing, bro. It's French class. Like, what if I use the wrong gender? Like, it sounds dumb saying it now, but 2 years ago, oh wow, it's been over 2 years. 3 years ago now, I like fully believe this, right? So again, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because like I only know about the word catastrophizing is because like I went through a lot of therapy and they like bogged it in my head that like that's one of the cognitive distortions that I have, and I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are pretty right. But I know that not everyone has been to therapy, or like for everyone, it doesn't present itself to the extreme at which I am detailing it. So for catastrophizing, right, or this avoidance, right, because you're worried about what the result is, I know oftentimes for people, like, they have these regrets, right? Like, oh, I wish I'd done this, but I was too scared to, right? Or, oh, I wish I'd done that, but I was too scared to, right? And I am recognizing in myself that like I don't want to live with those regrets. Like, oh, like this YouTube thing, I think I said before that like I on and off, like I'm like, oh, this is fun, but like I'm like I can't do it because I would catastrophize. I'm like, what if someone I know finds out about this channel and they laugh at me and everyone thinks that I'm weird and I'm socially ostracized? So one technique that I wanted to share with people is, one thing that I learned in therapy was that like they would make you go down that like not rabbit hole of like the worst case scenario. I'm gonna call it the worst case scenario, right? So you would go through your thing of catastrophizing. I think I'll use the example of the grades, and then they'll ask you, okay, would this matter a year from now, 6 months from now? Some of these scenarios you can't necessarily use this in, but I've noticed in and of myself like this has worked a lot. Like, for example, let's say I get the bad grade, right? And I'm like, oh, my life is over, I don't graduate on time. Okay, that's the worst case scenario. Will I still graduate? Yes. Would it matter 6 months from now? Probably, because then I'd have to sort out my whole new graduation plan because of a one class. Would it matter a year from now? Again, maybe, because of visa issues. Would it matter 5 years from now? No, because I'd graduate at 23 instead of like 22. So like with that, it helps you look at the bigger picture, which I noticed with me and my catastrophizing, it's hard for me to look at the bigger picture when I'm so magnified on like the issue and what's happening right now, right? I think another thing when they taught us during this worst case scenario thing is that, am I modifying what's actually happening in reality to fit my belief about myself, right? So for example, right, I have low self-esteem, and anything that, you know, would I would modify things to fit that idea of myself of just I'm not good, right? So me modifying like, oh, I got a bad grade, that means I'm not good. I'm modifying what's actually happening in reality to fit my belief, right? So a different scenario too. Locust Walk is the main walk on our school, and I would not want to go on Locust. I'm like, what if I see someone I know? What if? You see these what if games? That's what's messing somebody up. But like, to use the same model, it's like, what if I see someone on Locust Walk and they laugh at me? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? They laugh at me, say what? People are too busy thinking about their own thing anyways. But like, okay, let's say someone laughs at me. First of all, they're gonna look weird as hell laughing at me because what did I do for real? Second of all, if they laugh at me, will it matter 6 months from now? Probably not. Maybe when I'm sleeping. Would it matter a week from now? Yeah, because I'll still be thinking about it. But a year from now, not even. Like in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter, right? And I think like that exercise is helpful because you notice in the grand scheme of things, a lot of things don't matter. So thank you. Hopefully that helps.